Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture number 6 of power system stability. In this lecture, we will discuss derivation of critical clearing angle. The name of topic is system fault and subsequent circuit isolation. Okay, as shown in the diagram, and this is a double circuit line. Line 1, line 2, in line 1 both in circuit breaker 1 and circuit breaker 2, and line 2 circuit breaker 3 and circuit breaker 4. A fault occurs between line 2, in between line 2. So here a synchronous generator with direct axis synchronous reactance feeding a infinite bus. Okay, so let us consider a synchronous generator supplying power to an infinite bus through a double circuit line as shown in figure 1. Okay, suppose that some type of fault, say single line to ground fault, occurs in the middle of line 2. Let us further assume that the fault is not sustained but it is cleared after some time by opening of the circuit breakers at both the ends of the faulted line. The fault produces a transient change which may render the system unstable. Okay. However, if the circuit breakers clear the fault in time, it is possible to maintain stability. So, very important line, the maximum value of time allowed for protective gear to operate without loss of stability is called the critical clearing time, and the torque angle corresponding to this time is called critical clearing angle. So very most important, critical clearing time and critical clearing angle. Now here figure 2, you see the power angle curves when fault occurs on one line. So same power angle curve, P versus delta. Here three curves. Curve A, that is the pre-fault curve. Curve B, this is the fault duration curve, and this is post-fault curve C. This is very important. Power angle curves, very important. Okay. So the conditions of operation are shown by three power angle curve A, B and C. Curve A is called the pre-fault curve. It represents the pre-fault condition when both the lines are in healthy condition. This curve A. Okay. Curve B is called the fault duration curve. It represents the condition of the system during fault when one healthy line and one faulted line are in circuit. This fault curve B. Curve C is called the post-fault curve. This curve represents the condition of the system after the fault, after the faulted line has been switched out and only one healthy line is in the circuit. This is the post-fault curve C. So here three power angle curve. Curve A, healthy condition, pre-fault curve. Curve B, this is fault duration curve, and this is post-fault curve C. Here this is PS is the input line. Okay, so this is the maximum value P max 1, P max 2 and P max 3. Okay, so the three power angle curves are drawn from the following equations. ये equations यहाँ से बनी हुए for pre-fault condition, as we know that equation P equal to EV by X sine delta. Here XA, reactance written as XA. So this can also be written as P max 1 sine delta. For the condition during fault, next equation, power angle equation, P2 that is equal to EV by XP sine delta. This can also be written as P max 2 sine delta. For the post fault condition, this is P3, third equation. So reactance EV by XC sine delta, that is also equal to P max 3 sine delta. So each and every case reactance different. Here XA, here XV, and here XC. Here XA is the transfer reactance prior to the fault, XA, and XV transfer reactance during the fault, and XC transfer reactance for the post fault condition. Okay. So the three power angle curves are shown in figure 2. The input line is given by PE equal to PS as shown in previous slide. Okay. Now a very important part, बहुत ध्यान से देखिएगा इस पावर एंगल कर्व को. Before the occurrence of the fault, the system was operating at point A on the pre-fault curve A, this point A. The initial load angle delta naught is obtained by the intersection of the input line PE equal to PS and the pre-fault curve A. Okay, so this delta naught angle. When the fault occurs, the transfer reactance is changed and the power output is reduced. The operating point shifts from point A to point B corresponding to load angle delta 0 on the fault duration curve P, this point B. At this point, the input PS is greater than the electrical output. Okay. So with the result that the rotor accelerates and the operating point moves to point C, this C point. At the point C, the circuit breakers CB3 and CB4 at the two ends of the faulted line 2 open and the fault is cleared. Thus, only one healthy line remains in the circuit. The transfer reactance changes again to a new value due to the opening of the circuit breakers. So the operating point moves to point E on the post fault curve C, this point E. The load angle delta goes on increasing due to the rotor inertia. Now the output power is greater than the input power and the rotor starts retarding till the point F is reached, this point F. At the point F, the angle delta is delta 2 and the speed of the rotor with respect to the synchronous speed becomes 0. The extent of overshoot, that is the value of delta 2, can be determined by equating the area DEFG, okay, and ABCD, area ABCD. If the area included between the curve C and the line PE equal to PS bounded by delta equal to delta 1 is less than area ABCD, the machine will lose synchronism after the operation of the circuit breakers. Okay, so very important point. The system will be stable if the retardation area A2, that is area DEFG as shown in figure, is equal to the acceleration area A1, that is ABCD. Okay. So this part is very important. This is the whole functioning of machine when fault occurs and when fault is cleared. Okay. Now see the third figure, figure number 3. Figure number 3, this is the determination of critical clearing angle. It is to be noted that the acceleration area A1 depends upon the clearing angle delta 1. This delta 1 here shown. When delta 1 increases, area A1 also increases, and to find A2 equal to A1, delta 2 is increased till it has a value delta m. This is the maximum value delta m. This is the maximum allowable value of delta for stability. Such a condition is shown in figure number 3 as shown in slide, where delta 1 equal to delta c, this delta 1 equal to delta c, the angle delta c is called the critical clearing angle. This delta c called the critical clearing angle. For the system to be stable, the clearing angle should be less than the critical clearing angle. Again, for the system to be stable, the clearing angle should be less than the critical clearing angle. If the actual clearing angle is greater than the critical clearing angle, the system becomes unstable. Okay. Thus, more rapidly the fault is cleared, the smaller will be the accelerating area and the greater the chance of stable operation being restored. So, as we know that stability condition, this area A2 less than is smaller, here smaller will be the accelerating area. So यहाँ पर जो है A1 को कम होना चाहिए. So now apply the equal area criteria here. Area A1, area ABCD, that is equal to PS delta 1 minus delta naught minus delta 1 to delta 1 P delta, same concept. So PS delta 1 minus delta naught to delta 1 P max 2 sin delta. This is from figure number 3. So A1, put delta 1 equal to delta C, then we have A1, area A1, and area A2, area DEFH. So delta 1 to delta 2 P d delta minus PS delta 2 minus delta 1. So delta 1 to delta 2 P max 3 sin delta d delta minus PS delta 2 minus delta 1. So this can also be written as minus P max 3 cos delta m minus cos delta C minus PS delta m minus delta C. Okay, so area A1 and area A2. Now applying the equal area criteria condition, that is A1 equal to A2. So A1 PS delta C minus delta naught, here delta C is the critical clearing angle, plus P max 2 cos delta C minus cos delta naught, that is equal to minus P max 3 cos delta m minus cos delta C minus PS delta m minus delta C. So take common cos delta C, then we have P max 2 minus P max 3, that is equal to P max 2 cos delta naught minus P max 3 cos delta m plus PS delta naught minus PS delta C minus PS delta m plus PS delta C. So this cancel out. So after solving, finally we get this equation, and finally cos delta C, that is equal to PS delta m minus delta naught minus P max 2 cos delta naught plus P max 3 cos delta m divided by P max 3 minus P max 2. So this is the derivation of critical clearing angle. Here delta C is the critical clearing angle. Very important derivation and very useful derivation. So how can you calculate the critical clearing angle? By this formula, by this equation, cos delta C, that is equal to PS delta m minus delta naught minus P max 2 cos delta naught plus P max 3 cos delta m divided by P max 3 minus P max 2. Now let us take example. A generator is delivering 0.6 of maximum power to an infinite bus through a transmission line. A fault occurs such that the reactance between the generator and the infinite bus is increased to 3 times its pre-fault value. When the fault is cleared, the maximum power that can be delivered is 0.8 of the original maximum value. And determine the critical clearing angle. So in this numerical, apply the formula of cos delta C and find the critical clearing angle. But before applying the formula, we have to calculate value of delta 0, value of delta Q, value of delta 2. So draw the power angle curve. Draw this diagram, figure number 3. This is power angle curve, curve A, curve B and curve C. Curve A pre-fault curve B fault duration curve, and curve C post-fault curve. Okay, and the area A1, A, B, C, D, and E, F, D, E, F, H. This is the area A2. Okay, so in this question, Pmax 1 that is given by Pmax and Pmax 2 क्वेश्चन में गिवन है, जो रिएक्टेंस है वो 3 गुनी हो रही है. सो व्हाट इज Pmax 2? एज वी नो दैट Pmax दैट इज इक्वल टू EV बाई X. सो Pmax की वैल्यू क्या होगी? दैट इज 1/3 Pmax. सो 0.3333 Pmax. Pmax 3 this is given 0.8 Pmax and PS that is given by 0.6 Pmax. So apply the formula cos delta C, that is PS delta minus delta M minus delta naught minus Pmax 2 cos delta naught plus Pmax 3 cos delta M divided by Pmax 3 minus Pmax 2. So before applying the value, first of all calculate the angle delta 0 and delta M. So the initial load angle delta naught that is determined from the pre-fault curve A. So see the diagram for curve A. PE1 this is equal to Pmax 1 sin delta. So at operating point A on curve A, this is PE1, this is given as 0.6 Pmax and delta 1 equal to delta naught. Then we have delta naught that is equal to 36.87 degree. This is 0.6435 radian. So cos delta naught that equal to 0.8. Similarly, the load angle delta Q is obtained from curve C, post fault curve. So apply PE3 Pmax 3 sin delta. Then we have 0.6 Pmax that is equal to 0.8 Pmax sin delta Q. So from this equation we have delta Q that is equal to 48.59 degree. So what is delta M? 180 minus this angle, and this is equal to 131.41 degree, and this is 2.2935 radian. So cos delta M this is equal to minus 0.6614. Now apply the formula cos delta C. This is equal to 0.6 Pmax, and this is 2.2935. This is delta M minus delta naught minus this is Pmax 2, value of Pmax 2 into 0.8 plus 0.8 Pmax into minus 0.6614 divided by 0.8 Pmax minus 0.3333 Pmax. So after solving we get delta C that is equal to 65.41 degree. So this is the answer of this question. It's a very simple question. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you very much and wish you all good luck.